Check it out. Got a whole shop full of ratty Pontiacs. If y'all watched my last video, you know that this is my son's 72 Le Mans that was wrecked, and we swapped frames on it and got it back into a roller. The only thing we didn't get done that we needed to get done was get the steering hooked up, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We had to order a steering coupler, so we had to wait for it to come in, but I'm going to swap the steering boxes and try to put a column in it to where it'll at least steer, and then it's going outside. And then we're going to move the Ventura over a little bit where we can get all the way around it. And then got a hell of a mess to clean up from last weekend. And try to get the shop back in order and get back to working on my stuff. So I think I'm going to try to get this knocked out and get it out of here. So we'll be back in just a second. Alright, I got the steering box on and the column in and all mounted. So the car steers now. Some of the bolts that hold the steering box in, I don't know if it'll focus on them, were about rotted out completely, almost. This one's almost in two, so I had to find some bolts for it. But anyway, so it rolls and steers now, so I think I'm gonna get this thing out of here and then try to get the shop cleaned up and get everything kind of back in order so we can start working on other stuff. The Le Mans is out. The shop is somewhat clean. Man, that's a good looking car. Anyway, I kind of got everything moved around where you can actually move in this shop. I can completely walk around all the cars now. You know, you can fit 3 cars in this shop pretty comfortably and still be able to work on them, but once you stick a 4th car in here, it's just not enough room. But anyway, I still gotta get the gray car back in here. I think I'm gonna back it in because I'm still waiting on one piece for all my rear end stuff from Quick Performance to put that rear end in. Hopefully pretty soon. But anyway, this cleaning the shop up took way longer than I thought it was going to, and I am whooped. It's lunchtime. I'm hungry, so I'm fixing to go eat and then probably get back out here on this and try to at least finish that up, get that finished welded and all that. Might work on this spot right here, who knows. I got quite a bit of parts ordered for this car. A lot of it's came in. I got a couple of little pieces that I'm waiting on that hopefully will be here this week, so maybe next weekend we can really dive into this car. I'd really like to get it running off the key switch and driving and stopping and all that good stuff. And, you know, kind of just evaluate how the car's going to be. You know, it's hard to tell when you can't drive it, but man, I like that car though. Anyway, we'll be back in just a little bit. Oh man, I hate welding. Well, I take that back. I like welding, I just suck at it. But I think I got most of it good enough for filler, but right up here I started blowing holes in it real bad. So I'm gonna have to go back. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. Of course, it's real thin, so I may just have to cut me out another piece and put another piece in there. But the rest of it, I think, is fine. And of course, I haven't welded this yet. Of course, it started blowing holes up through here, and so I didn't even get to this point. And I don't know what is going on with my welding helmet. I don't know if I left it on again, but the batteries went dead on it again. So I got to get some more batteries before I can finish that. But yeah, I was really wanting to get this done today and get some filler on it. But I mean, yeah, there's a spot there I blew out. But yeah, it looks bad, but I mean, I'll get it figured out. But I'm not afraid to show my screw ups. I mean, that's awful. Awful. But thankfully for me, they make grinders and filler and all that good stuff. So, but anyway, this took a whole lot longer than anticipated, and I got to get batteries for the helmet. So I think I'm gonna call it for tonight, and might try to run to town tonight and see if I can find some batteries and get back out here tomorrow and try to finish that up, because I really would like to get that done, get some filler on it, and get it in primer, and then start on this part up here. That's so bad. But like I said, I never claimed to be a good welder. I'm not good at it, but I mean, it's in there. It's stuck on there. And most of it's pretty decent, you know. I mean, with what I was having to work with, that firewall was pretty beat up anyway. But I think when I get it all these holes filled, I got a few little pinholes I need to go back and do, a couple there, and finish that little section over there. And I think once we get some filler on it, it'll be fine. But yeah, so much for my clean shop. But anyway, I'll hopefully get back on it tomorrow. Well, I finally got all the holes welded up best I could. That was a freaking nightmare, but I got one of these little copper spoon things that helped holding it on the back side of it. And I got some of that fiberglass reinforced filler on it. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit and sand it down and try to get it in primer, but I think I put way too much hardener in it, because it started hardening up way quick, like before I could even get all the way around that. But two things I am not. One is a welder, obviously, you can see that. I'm not a body man either. I don't know much about all this bodywork stuff, but I've used this before. I used it on the trunk pan, in this car. It works pretty good. But I got quite a bit of heat in that panel trying to weld them holes up, so it's kind of wavy. Once I get this on there and kind of see how it is, I might have to just like skim coat the whole thing with some regular body filler and then block it out. I mean, I ain't going for perfect, like we ain't building show cars here, but I would like it to not wave at me when you look at it. So, but yeah, whew, man, I really need to practice my welding. But I guess I'm gonna get a lot of practice on this car. But you know, you set plans for the weekend. I only have a limited amount of time to work on these cars. And you think, man, I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna knock all this out, and I'm gonna get so much stuff done. But then, you know, this turns into an all-day thing. So I don't know if I'll get to this today or not. Probably not, but I might at least try to get my piece made that I'm going to use. I'm going to have to look over there, but I think this just kind of rolls. So I think if I just had a piece, you know, maybe cut up here and just kind of roll that down and make a little piece there. But this piece here goes under this, but I think I'm just going to zip it right there and just weld it to that piece. There's a piece of trim that covers all that. It's like a big piece of chrome. So all I'm concerned about is it being solid and not leaking. Again, I'm not building show cars here, so it ain't got to be perfect. And I mean, they just goop that shit in with seam sealer anyway, so I could just get it, you know, half-assed and just seam seal it. Which I'll have to get in behind this when I get it all done in the front and seam seal the back of it. It looks as bad on the back side as it did on the front side after I got done welding it. But anyway, I'm trying to figure this welding stuff out. But the good thing about the floors is, you know, nobody's gonna see that shit, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm gonna tell you where I screwed up, or where I think I screwed up. When I did this, I cut the hole out first and then tried to match the shape, you know, cutting out a piece to fit in it, and I never could get it just perfect. So I think what I should have done was cut a piece out big enough to cover what I needed to cover, screwed it down, and then zip cut all the way around it. And then it would have, you know, matched up perfect, which is what I'm going to try to do when I do the patches in the floor. I'm just going to cut a piece out big enough to cover what I need to cover, and, you know, just sheet metal screw that sumbitch down, and then zip cut all the way around it. So the piece, you know, cut both pieces at the same time, the patch panel and the floor that you know, you're cutting out. And then it should be, you know, an exact match. I've seen guys do that before, so I'm going to try that instead of trying to make the piece fit the hole that you cut out first. But anyway, I'm going to try to get this thing sanded down, and then we'll maybe get some primer on it. Yeah, and that looks horrible. There's a ton of imperfections in it. I don't know if it'll show up on camera or not, but yeah, there's a lot of air bubbles in that filler and still some little pinholes and stuff. But I'm gonna get some like glazing putty or some better filler or whatever, and I'm just gonna skim coat the whole thing and then resand it. I just kind of want to get some primer on all the bare metal, and plus it's easier to see the imperfections when you get some type of color on it, or it is for me. But yeah, ooh, that looks rough. But I don't think it's anything some filler won't cure, and, you know, a lot of sanding. But I don't have any with me, so I'll have to get some this week. And I kind of started piddling here, but I don't know how much more I'm gonna get done today. It's already getting late and it's Sunday, so a lot, you know, this stuff just eats up the clock. I tell you what, I hate body work and metal work. I wish I was a lot better at it, but anyway, I mean, it's at least solid. Well, you can really see, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera here, how wavy that panel is now. Well, I screwed that all up. But I mean, it was butchered before it. I mean, even as wavy as it is and all the ugliness, still looks better than it did, you know, all hacked up. And, you know, once it gets smoothed out and get some black paint on it, and, you know, you got an engine and fenders and all that shit on it, it's not going to be as noticeable. But, you know, again, not building show cars here, so who cares? As long as it's solid and, you know, halfway decent. But a lot of these imperfections, you know, we can smooth all that out with some filler. And like I said, I'm just going to take and just skim coat that whole piece. But even like right here, I don't know if you can see or not, all those wrinkles. I mean, I think that's factory. Like, I think, of course, this ain't. This is somebody beat the shit out of it with a hammer, it looks like. So I may try to work on that a little bit before I get, you know, paint on it or whatever. But, you know, the motor's going to hide most of that. But like I said, this is all going to get black anyway, it'll all have to be, everything will have to be sanded eventually and primed, and, you know, a good coat of paint put on it. But yeah, it's horrible, but I think it'll still turn out all right once we get finished with it. I think it'll be okay. Like I said, I do think I'm gonna just try to make this piece here, and I don't know what to do about all this. I mean, it's pitted pretty bad. I'm just gonna have to think on that, but I still gotta get all this crap up here and see how bad it is. I may just, I don't know what I'm gonna do there yet. But really, I mean, the only holes are right there. Of course, you go to grinding on that, you probably find a bunch more. I mean, but this side over here doesn't seem to be as bad. I think that side will clean up. But I think what I'm going to do back here is just buy this whole piece right here and just replace the bottom half. And then there's some patch panels I can buy that I think go from about right here down, that will take care of most of this. I mean, it's pretty bad up here, but I don't know if it can be saved or not. I still haven't got all the goop. It doesn't look like this side here is as bad, but I still ain't got all the goop out of it. But I think the biggest thing is just getting this piece, and you know, those are parts I can buy. I won't have to make, because obviously I'm not a metal guy. But anyway, this stuff is just not fun to me. You know, this is the part I don't like because I'm not very good at it. I'll be glad when I get past this point and we can start working on the mechanical aspect of it. That's my thing. That's, you know, what I'm okay at. So this is not my field of expertise, but I'm not an expert at the mechanical side of it either, but I can at least do it. But I do have a spot inside the cowl. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it, where when I cut this piece out, I cut into the inner cowl. I welded it up on the outside, but I'm gonna seam seal the inside of it also, or maybe put some of that fiberglass filler on it. But I'm out of hardener, and I do want to get some, like I said, either just some good body filler or some glazing putty, which I have some glazing putty, but I think it's probably older than my kids, so I don't figure I'm gonna use it. I've had it forever. I'm sure it's probably all dried up and not good. I just need to get some new. But anyway, I'm glad to at least have it, you know, all welded in, and even though it's ugly as sin, but I'm glad to be done with that part of it. And the rest of it, I mean, is just gonna be, you know, body filler and sanding. Nobody wants to watch that, so I probably won't film that. But, and I don't know, like I said, what I'll be doing next. I bounce around so much here, but I really want to get back on the Ventura. I've got I've been piling parts inside. I've got most of the brake stuff. I got a full wiring harness, stuff I need to change the oil, got a key switch, got gauges, shocks. Still got the intake I want to put on. So I don't know how much more of the black car will be showing for right now. Like I said, nobody wants to watch me just apply filler and sand, and I may show some of my poor attempt at making this part here, and then when we get on the floors I'll definitely film that. But like I said, I'm gonna try it a little different this time on the floors. The plan is to not use, you know, the plan is to use as little of the patches as possible. So like we're pretty solid over here, you know, about right here it starts. and then we'll go as far over as it goes that way and up the toe boards, you know, at least up to here. But I think if I can get a piece cut out to cover what I need it to cover and get it laid in here and then just zip cut around it, it should be a lot easier to weld. The gaps will be better. So that's what I'm gonna try. And if I screw it up, I'll just order a complete one-piece floor pan for it and pull the body off and do that, even though that's not what I want to do. But anyway, I think I'm gonna stop it for tonight and we'll get back on it pretty soon. I went ahead and started messing with this little area here. I know it looks like shit right now, but it actually went pretty good. One thing I'm gonna have to cut out a little more right here. When I started tacking it, I guess it's pretty thin right there, so it started blowing out. So I'm gonna replace that little strip right there. And I think I'm gonna have to zip cut this and lift that up. It fell down when I tacked it, so it's real low right there. And then I'm gonna cut out a little more of this and roll it down to that piece. Now, of course, I still got to finish grinding all of it, but everything's just kind of ugly ass welded in there. But it was actually not as bad as I thought. And like all this right here where it's kind of open, like I looked at the other side, this just gooped in with seam sealer. So I'm gonna make this piece, when I get it all ground down, make it to where, you know, that's where the windshield will sit. So I'll smooth that out, and then the rest of this is just going to be, of course, I'll grind it down, and then like you can kind of see where I dug out all the old seam sealer. Like it just kind of, there's a big wide, you know, patch of it that goes up through there. So I'm going to do it just like that. I got to finish welding this and then roll this piece down and weld it. And then a little bit right there, and then I think once I get that ground down, that'll be good. But like I said, I don't want to just have to grind this down and fill it with filler. I'd like to zip cut that and pull it, you know, push it up a little bit and then re-weld it right there. That's pretty solid. So as much as I don't like doing this, you know, this actually turned out a lot better than I thought. But like I said, looking at it, because of my ugly ass welding, it looks like shit. But it's actually, you know, I think going to work out really good. Because, you know, the windshield is just going to lay on this right here. I don't really think it fits down in this. But even if it doesn't matter as long as it's glued right here. So, but anyway, doing that a little bit made me feel a little bit better. I'm not as pissed off at myself over the Firewall now that I've actually did, because I thought this was going to be worse. I was dreading this, so this actually was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But I may go ahead and just take and cut this piece back out and just make me one big piece instead of trying to make another little piece. Be a lot less welding. I don't know. I'm not to that point yet. It's still Sunday. It's getting late, so I think I may grind on this a little bit and then I'm gonna call it for tonight. But anyway, I just wanted to show my progress on that. Don't judge my welding. But anyway, I think I'm gonna just wrap up a little grinding and then I'm gonna call it for the day. I did a little grinding on it. I haven't done any more welding. It's getting late and I don't like to weld and then immediately shut the shop down and go in the house, because I'm always afraid something's gonna catch on fire. So I always try to wait a little while after I'm done welding before I go inside. But I'm really liking how it's turning out. Like I said, I still got to cut this piece out and replace it. So, and you know, got a couple other spots I got to finish welding. I still haven't cut this back out to pop it up to weld it and whatever I'm going to do here. But like, I really like how this is, now that I've kind of ground it down, and of course I got some pinholes I got to re-weld and stuff, but it's really turning out way better than I thought it was going to, so I'm really happy with it. So just gotta finish those other little spots and then get that welded, and I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna work out pretty good, so I'm excited about that. It's nice to end the day on a win after the disaster that was the Firewall. But anyway, like I was saying, if you guys are welding in your shop, wait a little while before you go in the house. That's how people's shops burn down. You don't want to lose a shop full of hot rods, so that's why I'm not going to finish any more of that tonight. But anyway, I bought this little thing here from Harbor Freight, one of these little mini sanders, and it's just a little cheapy, but that thing works really good. Like, you know, getting that little contour right there that I wanted, the way it kind of rounds down in there. So that's really nice, and I think that'll help when I'm doing this channel up here. If I cut it, you know, cut a section here and weld in there, and to get that the good contour that I need. But yeah, I really think once this is all seam sealed and everything, it's going to be just fine. And I tried to roll the edge of that one piece. Of course, it looks a lot nicer right here, but it's just it kind of just rolls down right there. So I didn't quite get that as good. But you can see here, like, it just kind of, this lip right here just kind of stops right here, and then the windshield just kind of lays in right here. So I don't know, it may have went too far with this piece. I hope that doesn't, yeah, because over there it kind of just stops right here. So, and then it's just flat right there. So I may have to cut all this out and redo it once I start putting the trim on if it don't fit, which I got a piece of the trim on. Let me grab it and see if I'm doing all this welding for nothing. That's gonna suck. I'm over here bragging about how good it turned out, and I may have screwed it up. I think when, of course, I still got all the screws in it, so that's holding it up. But I think when the windshield is in it, oops, don't lose it. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. That fits. I think that fits under there, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think it'll be fine. But this time, I'm for real ending it for the night. I'm tuckered out. Gotta get all my mess cleaned up, and time to go back to work tomorrow. This day job really cuts into the hot rod building, you know what I mean? All right, I ain't gonna lie. It's a week later. It's Sunday. I haven't got anything else accomplished. I've been out of town for a couple of days. Went to Fayetteville to see my daughter and grandkids. So it's Sunday afternoon. I've been out here piddling a little bit, trying to get back into the groove on this thing. But I'm still having issues with this stupid welding helmet. It's had batteries put in it, I don't know how many times, but it still doesn't work. So I'm gonna make myself blind if I keep trying to weld with it. So we're not gonna do any more welding. So I think we're just gonna pause on this for a little bit. I'm gonna have to, I guess, invest in a better welding helmet. I'm sure when I bought that one, I just bought the cheapest piece of shit I could find at the time. So time to upgrade, I guess, and invest in a better one. So that's going to put a damper on finishing this up. But like I said, it's definitely turned out better than I thought it was going to. So I really wanted to get it done, because I was, you know, I think when things are going right, you need to keep pressing on. So, but anyway, I don't really feel like going blind, so we're going to stop on that for a little while. But while I was in Fayetteville, I did find a marketplace score. Bought a new dash for the black car. This is the old one, and then this is the one that I purchased. It's in way better shape. It does have some cracks in it. right there, but I'm gonna put one of those caps over it anyway. But the framework is in a lot better shape, and the insert's a lot better. The pad is, you know, a lot better. There'll be more stuff for the little cover to stick to. So yeah, that was a good score. He had a bunch of other stuff, but that, you know, would have worked on my son's Le Mans, but it was all junk. So that was all that we purchased on that trip. But anyway, like I said, this weekend has just kind of been a bust as far as working on the car. Between being gone and then the issues with the welding helmet, I'm done. I'm done with it. So I think this is where I'm gonna end this video. And I'm kind of burnt out on it anyway. This, you know, this ain't fun for me anyway, and I'm not good at it. So, and I don't think it's very good, you know, it doesn't make good content, I don't think. Nobody wants to just watch me weld and grind, and I mean, I just don't think that's good stuff. So I think we're going to take a pause on this car for a little while. I may finish this when I get another welding helmet, and then I think we may take a break on some of the filming of the metal work on this and get it to where we can kind of get back onto the mechanical aspect of it. But that being said, I have a ton of parts. Let me get this stupid thing out of the way for the Ventura. So I think that's going to be the next thing we work on. You can't see in there. Let me where I've got boxes and boxes of stuff. I've got a few things over here. Some more gauges. Sending unit. I'm going to take the fuel cell out and try to put a level unit in it. And I think what I'm going to do, since I'm having to rewire this whole car with an aftermarket harness, I think I'm going to try to rig up something in this cluster to just put aftermarket gauges in it and just take all, you know, all the factory stuff out. But I don't know. We'll see when we get to that point. But I think that's going to be the next thing we work on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this car. I really do. This car is more important to me than any car that I own. I'm just sick of working on it right now, and I don't want to work on it when I'm frustrated and pissed off. So I want to be in the right frame of mind working on it, because I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But if things ain't going right and you keep messing with it, you just wind up screwing stuff up, or I do. That's how my work. That's how it goes for me anyway. But when we get this part done, I'm going to go ahead and try to smooth that out a little better and get some paint on it, and then we'll tackle all this crap. But I'm just really not looking forward to that, and I really ain't sure what I'm going to do there yet. So I may have to just think on it for a little while, and that's usually when I get in trouble, when I start thinking. So, but anyway, I'm going to kind of clean up my mess, get the welder put up for now. I did actually try to look for a good welding helmet locally, but I didn't have any luck. The ones that I was interested in or wanted, nobody had in stock. So I'm gonna have to look around some more. Either that or I'm just gonna have to order one. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to put my hands on it first, but you know how that goes. Where I live, the next nearest town, even the biggest nearest town, is still kind of a small town. So, sometimes finding stuff in stock ain't always easy. So we have to order a lot of crap. But anyway, that's just part of it. But anyway, I know this video kind of went off the rails, but I hope everybody still enjoyed it, and we will get back on this car eventually. But I am going to end this video here. I appreciate everybody watching. Go work on your junk, and we'll catch you on the next one.